Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Unfolding Life podcast, where we discuss life and all its possibilities and responsibilities. Today's topic is partner shaming. It's a current TikTok trend that has some eyebrows raised and others wondering if they should even bother with relationships. Now, I'm your host, Gail.
And I'm your co-host, Shaquille.
All right. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, so let's get right into it. Now, I came across partner shaming first from a TikToker that I follow. It's basically her reacting to people shaming their partners.
Why? Like, what exactly is partner shaming?
Right, let's get into that. All right, so I took the liberty of defining it, based on what I'm seeing. And it's a phenomenon where a partner, it's usually the female counterpart, exposes their significant other's shortcomings on the internet. It's meant to shame them into changing and becoming better partners, or it could be when they get to the point where they're just done and they're fed up with the quote-unquote negative behavior, right?
Okay.
So, what it looks like on TikTok is usually wives making videos of the messes that their husbands left behind, that they ask them to clean up. Even something as gross as underwear, like they make videos of their husband's underwear on the ground.
Right.
Trash that wasn't taken out, dishes that weren't washed when they asked them to, they're just not helping them. That's the, let's say, PG version of that.
Okay.
All right. So now knowing what it is, or having an idea of what it is, what do you think?
I feel like that is a stupid concept.
Mm-hmm.
To have your business or putting your significant other business out there like that. I feel like there are other ways that one can, get their partner to change. And, just from a man's perspective, personally, I'm not a messy person, but men are naturally, I guess I would say, forgetful, or we're not as organized as females are. Mm-hmm. So, we will never be as organized and put things the same place as women. A lot of men. There are exceptions to some men who do that, but just speaking, of my experience, that's not something that we would do. So, I'm 100% sure that has been something that those wives have experienced from the beginning, possibly. So I don't see the reason why I take that to the internet. I don't know what's that going to fix, or if it's going to fix anything. If anything, it's just going to make the situation a lot worse. I know for me, it would make the situation a lot worse if somebody put my personal situation or whatever it is on the internet. That would, push the situation out of control. So that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not ashamed. If somebody put my business on, the internet like that, I would feel bad. I mean, there are so many other ways that you can try, and if none of those other ways, are successful, then maybe you all shouldn't be together.
I mean, if that is such a pet peeve of yours to where it bothers you that much to where you need to put it on the internet, I'm not sure if a lot of these persons, I think the concept of partner shaming is that it's the last resort, I guess. A lot of people, I guess, do it as a last resort, or they've spoken to their significant other and nothing has changed and blah, blah, blah. But I just don't see how putting it on the internet would make it better or make them. Because if it was for me, I would not see it on the internet. I'm like, oh, my wife put my business out there. Let me go change. Yay. No, that would not happen. So I don't see how that would fix anything.
All right. Okay, so that being said, do you think that there is any scenario where that is okay? So we know that you don't think it could be helpful in any case. Right? You're not gonna change based on being shamed on the internet. Is there a scenario though where you think it is okay? Any extreme?
No.
No?
Absolutely not. I feel like, well, to each his own. Anybody in a relationship can do whatever they feel like they want to do. My opinion, I feel like you should keep your internal affairs unless it is something that needs to be publicized or for your own safety or whatever it is. I feel like everything else should be kept internally, kept it within the confines of your house. I think things that happen inside your house, whether it is an argument that is not detrimental or whatever it is, or something of that sort, should be kept between both of you and try to find alternatives or try to find help in other ways. Maybe speaking to a counselor, speaking to somebody who can help him to be more organized. Mm-hmm. But putting that out into the world, that is not it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I agree that in the vast majority of cases, it's never a good thing. There's one case that I've seen where I'm thinking, okay, this could actually help her out in, say, a custody court situation. There's another TikToker that I follow. She was in a...
In what way would that have helped?
Right, I'm getting to that. I'm going to explain the exact specific situation. All right, so she was somewhat dependent on her husband for finances and so on. So what she was doing was she was documenting how the environment was. It was kind of hostile with her in-laws and her husband being controlling and all of that. I don't know if this would fall under partner shaming, but she did do some things that partner shamers do. So she likes to keep the place clean. They have a very young child. When I say very young, like toddler age. She likes to keep the place clean because she wants her child to have a clean environment. She herself likes a clean environment. But the husband was not helpful at all. They both worked. So she wasn't a stay-at-home mom. She goes to school. But he's not helpful at all, and he demands so much of her. Now, at the same time, he shames her, not on the internet, but to her face, saying that she's so messy, she can't even keep the house well. She's a terrible mother and wife, and her mother-in-law echoes those sentiments. So she started, to, I guess as an outlet, she started to post to TikTok, and then she started to post those things as a record to say, okay, this is what's happening.
Okay.
Right? And until she slowly saved and was finally able to move away with her child. Right? And they're still pestering her. The mother-in-law was demanding that she let her stay with her because the house is messy. And even though she and her son are no longer together, she's finally gotten away. She's demanding that she cleans the house. Her son's house.
So she's demanding that she comes to the son's house to clean?
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense.
It does not. So this is one very specific situation where I've seen partner shaming tactics used. And I say partner shaming because she was with him when she was putting that out there. But I think it was a good way to do that. Just to say, okay, in case of a custody battle, he is more financially stable than she is. He has properties and all of that. So he could easily pay excellent lawyers to say, she's unstable, she can't afford this, she can't do this. But if she has it to say, okay, he's not present to say, an active, even though he's physically present in the child's life and lived at the house when they were together, he is not necessarily the most active father. That's one. Two, he does not have good hygienic practices. It's not just that he's messy, the place is dirty, nasty. Like unwashed dishes for weeks in the sink. Unwashed clothes for weeks in the laundry room. Things like that.
So essentially he wants, listen, I get for having a wife that is able to take care of certain duties inside of the house. Mm-hmm. But we also have to remember that it is not one person. Even though if I am the breadwinner and you don't work and I work 8 days, sorry, not 8 days, 8 hours
okay.
8 hours a day for 5 days. So even if I do that, I still feel like it is good if I am able to come home and then if there's something that I can help out with, I help out with, not just leave everything fixated on you. So in that scenario, I still don't feel like putting the business out there for the public or for the internet, because it won't really help you. I guess if you kept that in your phone for custody, you have that as video evidence. You can still use that, but putting it out to the internet still really didn't help. No, that husband is a special case. I don't know about a lot of persons, and maybe a lot of men would say, I'm, disconnected from the matrix or whatever it is. But I just feel like if you have a child, if you right, it's still your responsibility as well. It's not, I get you pregnant and I'm going to leave the child on you to raise while I bring money into the house. It's both of us. So I don't feel like all the responsibility should be left on one person, whether that's a man or the woman. And just having his place in that condition, first of all, that's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't like mess. So I can't understand a person who would be able to walk past his kitchen sink for weeks and see dishes. Whether it's somebody that's washing the plates or me, there's no way. So for you to leave that responsibility for him just to pick up a broom, you can't pick up a broom, you can't wipe down nothing, you can't clean the like, you leave everything on her and you just go out and work. And I understand, as a man, a lot of persons would say, quote unquote, I'm a macho man or whatever. People say I'm a macho man or whatever. But still, in the instance, I feel like it's our place, so the responsibilities should be shared. Even though it might not be shared, even if you are a stay-at-home mom, still, there are things that I can help you with. And should help you with as a man, whether it's helping you with the children or helping you with some duties or cooking or whatever it is, or running some errands. There are things that a man can help with. So, I mean, that dude, I guess, he just need to live with his mother.
But his mother doesn't seem to be willing to do anything.
We see where exactly where he got it from, because ain't no way.
And to your point, yes, as us, if you're a stay-at-home mom, yes, the majority of the household duties will fall on you. That is perfectly understandable. I think in that case, with that understanding, when the father comes home, maybe takes some time to just relax and whatever, do something with your kids. Give them a bath and spend some time with them. Things like that. Right. It doesn't have to be like, duties. It's something that is necessary. You need to bond with your kids as their father. Right. So even in that case, that like really stood out to me when you said that. Because yes, you do need to do that. But when I said that, it wasn't just for the sole. When I said that I thought this was okay, it wasn't just for the sole purpose of shaming her partner online. It was just so, video evidence, and you have witnesses to say, okay, yeah, we actually saw when she posted that and whatnot.
I mean, still, that does not really help. Because even if someone in the public said, hey, I saw when she posted that, when she goes to court for custody, that person on the internet will not be in court. So her having the actual video evidence of him doing what he's doing, that's fine. I still just don't agree with posting it on the internet.
Okay, that's the sticking part.
That is just it. But I don't know what else to say about dude. he and his mom needs to go on a special island by themselves.
Right.
I've never seen that video, and I'm actually intrigued to see that situation.
Yeah, I can try to.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous.
All right. So having discussed that now, let's say it were to happen to you, where you're scrolling on TikTok and you come across a video. You say, "Hey, this looks like my house. Hey, that looks like my bed. Are those my underpants? Is my wife putting my business out there for everyone to see?" What would you do if you found out
So
that your business was on TikTok like that? You're being partnership.
So the little person on my shoulder is saying, burn everything down. But I think it's just to have a conversation. Would I be upset? No doubt. Would I go mental? No doubt. But having a conversation about it is key. When you become an adult, you realize that talking about things and actual understanding and willingness to change fixes a lot of things. So as an adult, I would have a conversation with her / you before really going completely off. But when I see it for the first time, I don't know what my reaction would be. I honestly can't tell you what my reaction would be, because that would be ridiculous. And especially if that person did not come to me about it before. If it was that she came to me before,
like usually it's years of building up. That doesn't make it okay. But I'm just saying it's years of building up.
If it's years of building up, of you telling me, hey, this, I don't like this or whatever, and I don't do anything, the man is as much to blame, but still I still just don't see why putting it out. It makes sense.
So it's the usual progression of things is like this. Okay, so it starts out, she's like, all right, cool, I get it. You know, things can happen. You're human. So you made this mistake. Let me just try to help you out with this. And then so you leave some dishes in the sink. She asks me, so, all right, cool. You know what? I'll do it myself, and then I'll remind you next time. You know, years and years and years, and it's like you just don't see when the dishes need to be done. You don't see when this needs to be cleaned. It's just like the house is supposed to automatically clean itself. But I do have a something else to say. But go ahead and say what you're saying.
That is what I'm saying too. That as adults, we need to have conversations. If you've been speaking to me and saying, hey, such and such, I don't like this, or I noticed that you've been messing up on this. I feel like as the man, as I said, we're not organized. Right? And even though anybody can see that something needs to be cleaned, we are not that organized. So sometimes, I won't say that the wife needs to kind of remind the husband, but it would help. It's our duty to get up and say, hey, I noticed that this needs to be done, let me get on it right away. But a lot of the times, because we're not that put together, organized, or, you know, we sometimes won't be able to do things accordingly or see everything. But when we do see something as blatantly obvious as dirty dishes, we can, wash the plate. We see something spilled, we can clean that up. We notice that the bathroom or the toilet needs to be cleaned, and we can do it. And she has the baby or whatever it is, we can fill in and do that. So the man is as much to be blamed. I just still, to this point, I will not accept my business with an internet.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, while yes, I completely agree with what you're saying. We're both adults. We both have adult responsibilities in the house. Now, I think a lot of it comes down to understanding each other as opposite sexes. So women tend to be, not all women, but women tend to be a certain way and men tend to be another way. Right? So you were saying that sometimes we need to remind you, yeah.
Because to be honest, I'm organized, but I'm unorganized at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy because I'll take something up and I won't put it back in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see that it's not in the same place that it should be,
you get irritated.
I get irritated. It's crazy because if I get up and I'm like, hey, where's the keys?
Mm-hmm.
The keys are supposed to be in a specific area, but I took it and I put it on the table or I put it on some, and I don't see it and I'm like, why is the key not here? I'm upset. Right? But I am the person who did not put the key back.
You are the drama.
So, essentially, I like to be organized, but as a man, I can understand not being organized. Because when we take up stuff, sometimes we remind us, say, just put it here. We'll come back.
Yeah. As I say, you put it down with your left hand. If you're right-handed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but definitely, like, some women are so opposed to that, and I don't know why.
Opposed to what?
To reminding their husband or asking their husband, hey, can you help me with this?
Because they keep saying, you should not remind an adult.
Yeah, but you yourself as an adult sometimes need reminding.
Right.
So I'm not sure why that's an issue.
Ladies, let me tell you. Us men, and I don't know if a lot of men would agree with what I'm saying, but I am telling you from my perspective. We are forgetful, we are organized and unorganized at the same time. Because there's a lot of things that we'll put together and keep together perfectly. And even in the house, as I said, putting things down and wanting things to be a specific way. We want that. But us ourselves contribute to it being unorganized, and then we complain. And then get it organized again. So, a little help won't hurt. I know you guys feel like you don't need to remind an adult, remind a big man or whatever it is, but we can take a little help because we're forgetful. Yeah.
Yeah. And some women would say to that reminding you constantly is it creates a mother-child situation. I don't think that alone does that. It has to be an amalgamation of different things. So multiple areas of your life where your husband acts like a child. Needing reminding, for me at least, let me speak for myself. For me at least, me reminding him, hey, can you do this? Or, hey, I need some help with this. Or even us sitting down and saying, let's iron out how we can share the responsibilities in the house, how we can divide the chores. I don't have a problem with that. I don't.
But then when you remind us, it's also up to us to make an effort.
Actually do it, right?
Yeah. Because you can remind us a million times, and if we make no effort to remember, then
that is the problem.
So it's also up to us. It's an equal effort where we if we can take the help, but it's also on us to put in the effort to actually receive and You
can lead a horse to the water, but you can't force him to drink it.
Right. Like you can remind me all day, but if I decide, if in my mind it's at the back of my head and not that important, I won't do it.
I remember this thing I saw long time ago. It said, my wife is so pushy. Every time she keeps asking me to do the same thing, and I keep telling her I'm gonna do it. There's no need to keep reminding me every 3 to 6 months. So it's just like, I mean, at this point, I might as well do it myself or get a whole other man to do it.
3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
What is she reminded him to build a house.
Apparently, so even something like, oh hey, you know how you're able to, like, you know, fix the door jamb or something like that. Hey,
Right.
babe, you know, the door jamb is falling apart. I need one nail to be hammered in so it looks like a proper door jamb. Can you spray some WD-40 into the hinges of the cupboard so they don't sound like we're in a haunted house? He'll take at least 6 months. At least 6 months to a year.
Listen, I can completely
identify with
that. So it's I don't even know how to explain it, because when you specifically ask for me to do something, whether it is to fix something or set something up, I say, okay, cool, I'll do it when I get time. When I say when I get time, that goes to the back of my head. That is pretty much the least important thing that I have on my checklist.
Okay.
And how my brain is set up, I will forget that.
Also, we need to also understand how your psyche works like that, so that well, then that goes back into us treating you like children, where we have to find ways to help you to remember things like that.
But you need to also remember that that's not the only thing that is on
That is true.
checklist.
Right, that's true.
What you guys are asking us to do, something like fixing a door hinge or stuff like that, it might not be the most relevant thing to what we're doing in our daily life. We might have a lot more important things, a lot more strenuous things that we have to focus on. So when that is a thing, it goes to the back of our head.
So we as wives are also forgetting all of the pressures, the other things that you have on your plate, and we're allowing all of what we have. Not that those things aren't valid, but we're allowing our issues and so on to completely to prevent us from being able to empathize with you guys.
This is what I would say. I would say that 95% of the time, you really don't take into account what
you guys have on your plate.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, oh my God, he didn't do this. What was the reason? I mean, some of the times, let's be frank, there's no reason. But I'd say there are a lot of us out there that are going through a lot and have a lot of stuff. Whether you're a businessman or whatever it is that you do, and you have a lot of things, you might be under a lot of pressure at work, you might be having certain situations, even within the household, that you know is more important than whatever it is that she had asked you to do. So that is also something that needs to be kept in mind for you know, whensoever. As for, you know, fixing things in a timely manner, we just need to make the effort to remember. That's all. If we make the effort to remember when you ask, then things will get done. And it's also the time that you catch us. So you need to catch us in a moment that you don't see us doing anything at all.
Okay.
So like, I'm here on my phone scrolling on TikTok, or I'm here just chilling, not doing anything. You have to catch us in those moments to ask us to do things like that. But if I'm doing something of relevant, you know, importance, and you ask me, immediately that's going to go to the back of my head, because that's not important right now. So that it's also the timing of when you ask. I know it's a lot, but yeah.
It's a lot because also it's sometimes when we remember to do
Right.
right? So I guess, you know, we just have to find a way to deal with that. And speaking of which, that was what I was actually leading to, and we kind of touched on this next question, you know, in what we were discussing just now.
Right.
Is what would you recommend instead of partner shaming?
Anything. That, for me, that should never be an option.
You said anything unaliving people?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, no. But we can. There are so many other things that we can do. Whether it is speaking to this person and say, "Hey, do you want me to set a reminder on your phone? Do you want me to do X? Do you want me to put it here so you can see it better? Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to move it over there so that you'll be able to remember? Do you want me to leave a note here?" There are other things that you can discuss and actually put in place so that instead of putting it on the internet. And us men, we need to make the effort when someone, either our wives or girlfriends or whatever it is, say, "Hey, can you remember to fold the clothes for me? Or can you fold the clothes?" Or if we see the clothes,
on the bed,
bed,
they're clean and they're not supposed to be on the bed. That's not where you store clothes.
We can take them up.
Yeah.
We can go and, fold them, put them away. We're not as organized as you. So even when we put them in the drawers or the dresser or the cabinets, it's not going to be as organized, and that's going to create a whole another issue, but we'll leave that alone for now. But it's a thought that counts. Putting them away, it's a thought that counts.
Yeah, and the lady I follow on TikTok where I got the first videos, she does say something like that, and I completely agree. We do a lot. We have very high standards in certain things as women, and sometimes we have to understand that men are different in a lot of ways from us generally. So we're not gonna get the same results as we do when we do it. Just from person to person, forget man versus woman. From person to person, standards are going to vary. So even you as a woman may have different standards than another woman.
For example, let me tell you. I'll just use a small instance where I think sometimes think that we're both the same. I'll have a bottle and I'll say, "Open this." Or you ask me to open it and I'll be like, "You can't open that?" In my head, I keep forgetting that we're not the same. And we're just not the same. Or if I say,
thinking that I can see on top of the cabinet when the cabinet is literally above my head.
Short people problem. That's how it is. But things like that. We don't take into account the struggles of the other person, and we automatically assume that this person is supposed to be able to do it automatically.
Right, and just like we can.
Just like the other person.
There's no room for error.
Right.
We don't even give them a chance to practice to do it, to get even close to where we want it. And that's what I think we're lacking empathy on both sides. But I'm probably not going to, this is probably very unpopular, but in this case, more so on I can't say more so on the woman's side because I don't know each individual case, but we are lacking empathy. That's it. Because the women are lacking empathy, thinking, all right, that you don't know what your husband has to deal with when he goes out there. You don't know every detail of his day, right? So not understanding that alone, it does, it means that you would have to try to give him some grace. And for the men, just like Shaki was saying, have some empathy for your wife. Try to see what you can do to alleviate the stress that your wife or girlfriend has, without then taking on too much stress on yourself and then you becoming the partner shamer. So it's like Marcus Aurelius said, I listen to Stoicism. He said, try to when you see someone doing something that, I'm paraphrasing, when you see someone doing something that, irritates you, try to remember a time when you were in that person's shoes. You were doing some stupid shit, right? So, try to walk a mile in their shoes, put yourself in their shoes. And sometimes you'll see, it's still foolishness that they're doing, but a lot of the times you'll see that, hey, maybe I'm being too hard on this person, especially if this is somebody that you really love. You made the decision to share your life with them. Right. You understood for better or worse. They're gonna irritate you. They're going to get on your nerves,
True
sometimes for years at a time.
Yep.
But you made the decision to do that. So you have to decide every day, okay, I'm going to try my best to sort this out. But both of you have to do that. Right? So that's my recommendation for that. So, actual actionable tips that I would recommend. Actual actionable tips that I would recommend are, one is to set up an actual chore chart. Yeah, it sounds, maybe childish or something your parents would do for you, but for me personally, it would help if I had a chore chart. Like it helps when I have things written down to say, right, so I need to do this at this time.
Yeah, I personally, I guess it's because of school. I'm so used to a timetable. So I have a Monday through Friday, what subjects, what times, whatever it is, listed out so I know exactly where to be, when to do it. I know that for a lot of persons it would seem, going back to, as you said, a childish stage, but even for me right now in my professional, career, I have to do that to be able to remember to do certain things. Example, edit a video, I need to be able to know when I'm supposed to do this. If I don't, I'm going to miss something. I'm going to mess up something. So, and it all depends on the person. So that's where the conversation comes in. That would work for me, won't necessarily work for somebody else. Putting the things in an area that they're able to see it might work. Leaving a note somewhere might work. So it depends on the person.
The main tip is to actually sit and talk to your partner. Get them to understand exactly how it's affecting you. Don't just say, "Oh, this is really irritating me," or "This is really upsetting me." Go into the details.
Yeah, stop the me.
Right.
It's how it affects the household and how we can actually fix it.
Exactly. And but on the me part, you do have to explain the mental health part of it, as well as the surface things, and then of course it does affect the household, because if you get burnt out, then that's nothing good for either of you or the children in the household if you have children. So definitely, lay it all out on the table and try to fix it piece by piece with your partner. They're literally your life partner.
Right. Yeah. That is true.
All right, everyone. It has been a show, but that is it for today. I just want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in. Please do not forget to share it with a friend, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Our links are in the description, so go below, click them, follow us, so you can keep up to date on what we're doing. All right, and as much as we enjoy discussing it, we do want to hear from you, so let us know what you think about today's topic in the comments below. All right, and for full episodes, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to head over to Spotify and subscribe for just $2.99 a month. Okay, guys, until next time, keep living life.
Peace.